Hi everyone, welcome back to this PMP series of Agile questions. Great for getting up to speed for your PMP exam or your Agile Certified Practitioner exam. Let's get into the questions. You are testing the product being delivered by an Agile team in increments. That sounds very good. That's what we're doing as an Agile team. We're not releasing in one big bang, we're releasing in increments. It's an incremental approach, or features. That's also a good way to do it. You notice that there have been no defects passed on to the end user. You also notice that you're working with an extreme programming methodology for the team. What are the XP practices that led to this result? All right, let's have a look. So extreme programming practices, but also general Agile practices that we know that match up with XP because it's an Agile framework. Let's see what we've got. Regular refactoring and daily deployment of an integrated code base. Now what we're talking about here is regularly streamlining the code. So basically, getting rid of any extra bits or any loose ends in the code to make sure that it's easy to work with in the future, and also potentially runs faster and runs better for us as well we're refactoring, so streamlining that code. Daily deployment of the integrated code base means we're deploying ideally the code to a test environment and then running an automated test so that we can see if anything has broken with all of the things that we've been developing. So both of these things they're actually a little bit more technical on the XP side, but they are definitely a part of XP. So yeah, I like that one. Having real users test the product when it's released, that is also a good one as well. Moving team members around to different roles for a shared experience. I don't think we do with that one because we want team members to be the T-shaped team members of a team, generalizing specialists where we've got a broad range of knowledge themselves and then one deep specialty. So we really want to keep them engaged with that one deep specialty. That's the T-shaped or the generalizing specialist in the team. And everyone ideally would be that kind of team member in an Agile team. Ensuring the team does exactly what the Scrum Master says, definitely not that one, because the Scrum Master can guide us and ideally will help us grow, but also will simply be removing blockers for us to doing the work in an Agile team. It's not up to them to dictate, and that's probably something's gone wrong if that's happening in an Agile team. So as far as extreme programming goes, it is a bit more technical, but let's go with answer A. There we are. Extreme programming works with continuous integration. That's one of its main things. Deploying a single code base on a daily basis and running automated regression tests. So regression tests being you're testing the normal functions just to see if any of those normal functions have broken with our new code base. In this way, defects are picked up quickly. Regular refactoring or simplifying, as we said, and cleaning the code also ensures that it is easier to work with and easier to pick up and fix defects, and that's right, and easier to work with in the future. That was a great question. So you may come up with some similar technical questions, partially technical questions. They're not asking us to code things, but they're certainly asking about the coding practices that we might employ in an Agile team. That was a really good question. All right, let's check out the next one. You are an Agile project manager working with an Agile coach and planning the next sprint with the team. The Agile coach advises you to build in some slack for the sprint. What does this mean? And this is awesome. This is such a great question. You will have to do this in the real world as well. And sometimes it doesn't always work out this way, but it is such an important practice to put to use in your real work as well. So what does it mean, basically, is what we're asking. To use the messaging service Slack to communicate as a team. Definitely it's not that, although yes, Slack is very popular at the moment. Allowing the best performers in the team to slack off as a reward for their hard work. Wouldn't that be nice? But slacking off, even that, it doesn't have any value. We could be relaxing or doing something that's important to us, but no one, why do we want to slack off? Exactly. That's a funny answer. I don't like that one personally, even though it is, it's nice to relax every now and again. Adding a card for refactoring code that can be replaced if an emergency comes up. Now, right away, that's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about building slack in to a sprint, and we'll talk about that in a second. Last one is creating a burn down chart and a burn up chart together. So it's definitely not that one either. So when we're planning in a sprint, let's say we can put however many cards, 6 or 7 cards in, or let's say we can put 8 cards in, and we put 7 cards for the work that we're doing. We can add a card for streamlining and refactoring the code and simplifying and fixing up different fixes within our code base to make it easier to work with in the future. Refactoring is the way that we term that, and many of you will know that already, but for your PMP exam, just in case that comes up, refactoring the code, let's say that has 5 points against it, and the other cards have 3, 5, between 3 and 5, maybe there's a really big one, and altogether we can fit all of that in to our iteration. Then if an emergency comes up, then we can just get rid of that slack card and we can spend the time fixing or working on that emergency. But just in case, if we do have time, we have time to refactor the code, and that's what we're talking about with building some slack into the sprint. So all of that to say, I think we're going to go with answer C, and there it is. And all of that, it's exactly what we've said. So refactoring regularly ensures the code is clean and correct, and the refactoring card can be replaced if an emergency comes up. And yeah, so that's really good practice to get into. So that was a great question. All right, let's check out the next one. The team are planning their first upcoming sprint on an Agile project. They have worked with the product owner who has gathered a backlog of features in prioritized order. Wow, this is great. So they're working in a great way already. We know the features, we know the priority of those features because the product owner is there to tell us, and they're working with the team ideally. As an Agile project manager, what must you do to ensure you can plan future sprints correctly? All right, let's have a look. And this is a great scenario as well. This is a great scenario-based question. So this is the sort of thing that we will see on our PMP exam and Agile Certified Practitioner exam. Okay, well, we find the best performer in the team so you know who you can rely on. Agile is more about the team itself, not about individuals, not one person, about all of the people. So it's definitely not that one. Find your team's velocity over the next few sprints so you can set a sustainable pace. And we've touched on this already over the last couple of videos. Sustainable pace is really, really important. And the way we do that is by finding the team's velocity. If we've been able to complete, say, 40 points over the last 5 iterations on average, then we know in the next iteration we can plan in roughly 40 points, and that's going to be okay for our team to complete. So we're not going to be overburdening them, but we're not going to be underutilizing them either. So I think that's a really, really good one. Let's check out the last 2. Set a working group meeting to gain executive buy-in. That's probably more of your waterfall or traditional big organizations trying to get executive buy-in. And yes, executive buy-in is very important, but we want to be inviting them along to our team ceremonies so that they can understand exactly what we're delivering. And all of that should be open and transparent to anyone who wants to see it. Creating the project management plan and drawing out the schedule in advance. That is your waterfall approach from your project management body of knowledge. And yeah, that's more of a predictive approach, that one. So out of all of these, to ensure you can plan your future sprints correctly, we want to do answer B, finding the team velocity and setting a sustainable pace based on that. And there it is. An Agile sprint is based on the team velocity. The team's velocity is the amount of points or cards or features or whatever you choose as a team. So it can be different. It's completely up to you as long as you agree within the team. The team is able to complete on average during a regular sprint. You will need to complete at least 1 sprint to get an idea of the velocity that a team can complete. That was great. Wow, great question, that one. And we've got 2 to go. You're doing fantastically. Let's see what we've got. You are an Agile project manager and your organization is moving away from Waterfall to an Agile way of work. Great. That sounds like that's happening more and more these days, and you'll see it more and more on your exams and your project management exams too. After reading the Agile Manifesto, the functional manager that you're working with mentions individuals and interactions over processes and tools, which is one of the Agile Manifesto, one of the core parts of the Agile Manifesto. And they ask you how you will do it. What do you tell them? Okay, well, this sounds pretty good. All right, what will we do? Create ceremonies such as the daily stand-up, iteration planning, demos and reviews, so demonstrating, or sprint reviews, so demonstrating the product at the end of the sprint. Retrospectives that encourage team interaction. Right away, I absolutely love that one, because the ceremonies in Agile, so all of those things, stand-ups, iteration planning, sprint reviews and demonstrations, retrospectives, they are all there to encourage interacting as a team, and also bringing in outside people when we need to as well, as we've seen, like executives or other stakeholders that need to know about the work that we're doing. So I think we could probably just go with answer A straight off the bat, but let's look at the others just in case. What will we do? Create a process for the team. So we're doing individuals and interactions over processes and tools. While processes are important, we're still focusing on individuals and interactions. So we're probably not going to create a process for the team to review that shows the way of work. Ask the project sponsor to interact with the team by sharing some of their journey. That is a nice thing to do, but it's not specifically Agile. Ensuring that the tools the team have to work with are state-of-the-art software solutions. Now, I mean, this is a really big thing. You don't actually need state-of-the-art software solutions in order to work in an Agile manner. Agile can be really low technology. It could be a whiteboard. It could be Post-it notes. It could be a Kanban board drawn on the wall or stuck on with sticky tape with lanes and columns and moving cards across physically. It doesn't have to be software. It doesn't have to be high tech. And I think that's one of the best things about it. Anyone can get involved and anyone can do it. All of that to say, I still like letter A here. So let's go with letter A. And there we are. Many Agile practices are based on a collaborative approach, which enables fast decisions and ownership of the work. One way to do this is to co-locate the team so we're all in one place and we can easily communicate with each other. But others are the daily stand-up, team planning of the next iteration, and retrospectives to improve the way of work moving forward. So all of these are wonderful things and part of why Agile is so important. All right, we're on to the last question. You've done great, guys. Here we are. You are an experienced functional manager in the business who has been asked to lead an Agile project team. Wow. Okay, and this will happen to you if you're a manager in a business or an organization. You may have teams coming in, working in an Agile way of work, and now all of a sudden you have to come up to speed with an Agile way of work as well. Your executive manager is calling it the project coach or the Scrum Master role. And so that's what we're moving into instead of being a functional manager. Wow, this is great. This will happen to us, in the real world. You'll see this happen. You know that Agile leadership might be different to what you're used to, but what sort of leadership style will you embody? Now, this should be fairly easy for us because there's one main leadership style in Agile, and that is servant leadership, where we serve the team, where we lead the team by serving the team, removing blockers so they can do the work, and streamlining the work and coaching the team and growing their skills. That's what we're after. So let's see what we got. Servant leadership, well, there it is straight away. And you can see the others. Directive leadership, we're not directing the team, we want them to grow and make decisions collaboratively. Visionary leadership, even though that is nice, we're not just focusing on the high-level features. Agile is actually about getting into the detail as well, so that's just not good enough. And laissez-faire leadership, where you take a hands-off approach and let the team self-organize. That might sound okay, but still, as a leader, we actually do want to be involved. We don't just want to be completely hands-off. Even as a product owner, you still need to give direction to the team. And even as a Scrum Master, you still need to guide the team through their ceremonies and everything. You can't be hands-off. So that's close, but it's definitely still not it. And answer A, servant leadership, where you will lead the team by serving their needs, growing their skills, and removing blockers so they can get the work done. That's what we're after. Let's see what we got. Answer A. An Agile leader is primarily a servant leader, a project coach. The focus is on removing blockers for the team, helping them problem solve, and growing their skills where needed. And that is part of what I'm trying to do with you as well. help you and serve you by helping you pass your PMP exam and get up to speed on Agile, because it's becoming so much more prominent these days. And quite frankly, I've had a great time doing these questions with you, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.